Welcome to Vintage Variety. I have a lot of items to show you guys today. These items came from a Goodwill box that I purchased at shopgoodwill.com. And this box was a repair, craft, and some wearable lot. So when I got this, it was a really big, tangled up mess. There were quite a few pieces in it that were wearable, and there were some that were broken. Untangling them, some of them I had to cut the chains because they were that bad. It took me 3 or 4 weeks to get them untangled, so I did not record the unboxing part, mainly because when I got this, I knew it was just going to be a really big mess. What I've done here is I've bagged them up so that they won't get tangled again. Some of these were perfectly fine and wearable when they came out of the box, and other ones weren't so great. So what I did was I took some creative liberties with these pieces, and I'm going to show you how I repurposed some of them along with the pieces that were wearable. The first items I'm going to show you guys are the ones that I ended up not using. Recently I was watching a couple of different videos that Hannah over at Flor de Montagne did, and she was talking about items that you shouldn't throw away. She was giving advice on how to lot together different jewelry parts and pieces to sell on eBay, that a lot of jewelry makers and crafters like to use those pieces. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to start doing that because I have more items that I've saved for crafting than I'll ever be able to use. Most of these pieces are going to be necklace pendants or charms. Get a load of this. This is sliced stone. Not sure what kind of stone it is, but I thought, wouldn't that make a beautiful necklace pendant? I thought this one was really interesting. I like the looks of it. And on the back, this one is magnetic, so it has a magnetic bell, and this one says magnabilities.com. Never really heard of them, but either way, I thought this was neat because it can just clamp on and off of a chain or a torque. This one's plastic. It's supposed to look like a druzy stone, but still, this could be incorporated into the design of a necklace. This one is a beautiful faceted glass pendant, and boy is it large. So I thought that was a great item. I like this one. I thought this would be a really cute necklace pendant, maybe put on like a bronze or copper colored chain. Another piece of sliced stone that is a pendant. And there were a lot of items like that in this. Once I started sorting through all that jewelry, I found some pieces of quartz, some glass, and lots of stone pieces. This I really liked. This is not a pendant, it's a single earring, but what I like to do with pieces like this that don't have a mate is I like to remove the top part and add a jump ring and turn these into necklace pendants. So I thought that would be a good use for it. This one is another stone pendant. It looks like it had gold leafing around it at one point. That's worn off, but either way, this could still be used to make a really cool looking necklace pendant. This one is a large plastic stone. It's already drilled, but a lot of people like pieces like this for wire wrapping. I used to like to do a lot of wire wrapping, and I was always looking for good sized stones like this. A few more that I'm going to show you. This one's kind of neat. It's a donut stone, and this one is another piece of sliced stone. So there were a lot of really neat stone pieces, as I've already said. This one I'm going to come back to later. This was attached to another pendant, and I removed it. And then we have these little pieces, and both of these, let's see here, this one is real quartz, and this one is just acrylic. There's a couple of more of those in there. Yeah, here's another one. This one's acrylic also. But still, they're really neat looking pieces. These would look really cute. They could be attached to a bracelet or a chain. So I thought, you know, I'm going to save these pieces, lot them up, and maybe someone will buy them. This one is glass, and it has a cross on the front, so that would make a really pretty necklace pendant also. This one, of course, is a stone. It's just been decorated to look like sliced stone, but it has a cute bead at the top, so it'd make a cute pendant. So lots and lots of beautiful necklace pendants that I did not get around to using. Some of them are a lot smaller, so they would look really cute maybe on a charm bracelet. Just lots of really creative ideas that I came up with that I could have used these pieces for, but when am I going to get the time? And then there were all of these tiny chickens. I really got a kick out of these. There's quite a few of them, several I think, and some of them are enameled, some of them aren't. But I thought, all of these could be attached to a bracelet for someone that really loved chickens and roosters, and it would be a really cute item. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to lot all of these up. I'm probably not going to do them all as one big lot. I will probably do a lot of the small ones together and a lot of the big ones together. So I thought these were really neat. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Now I'm going to move on and I'm going to show you the necklaces that I managed to get out of this big tangle. Some of them I managed to get out complete as they were, and some of them I did take some creative liberties with. A few of these necklaces were actually branded or signed. This first one is a necklace by Kendra Scott, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. It took me forever to get it out of that tangle. I did use my wire cutters and cut some of the chains away, especially the really tiny fine chains. But I thought this was really neat. It adjusts at the back of the neck, so you just give it a pull. And it has this beautiful rose quartz pendant on the front of it. So I'm really glad I managed to get this one out without having to break the chain on it, because sometimes there's just no other option. This beautiful necklace is a Juicy Couture, and let me tell you, it was the biggest headache. Once I managed to get it out of that tangle, the necklace itself was tangled up. This one is, I believe, 5 or 6 strands. So I think if I list this one and it does sell, I'm not going to take any chances of shipping it out and getting tangled up again. I think what I'll probably do is lay it on a piece of flat cardboard and put just a little bit of tape to hold it in place and then top it with another piece. If this were my necklace and I was going to wear it, I would be very careful about how I hung it up in my jewelry box even. Because you guys can see now it still looks slightly tangled, but that's just the way I put it on the form. But it has a lot of really cute charms hanging on it. And I really like how delicate and kind of understated that it is. I'm going to go ahead and show you the markings on this one. It has the marking on the clasp, and it also has a cute little hang tag. This necklace is a necklace that I created out of broken bits and pieces that came out of that huge tangle I've been telling you guys about. I'm going to put this on the form. It is a long necklace, so I'm going to double it up, and then I'll tell you guys exactly what I did. First of all, you'll notice it has these beautiful beads on it. I believe that these were part of a really long chain. It was broken up into, I believe, about 3 or 4 different pieces. So I reattached those, and then I found this pretty kind of grayish, purplish color pendant, and I decided to attach it to this. As for the rest of the necklace, I had a couple of long pieces of chain that I reconnected. They matched up, and I hooked it to the beaded part of the chain. I didn't put a clasp on this necklace because it's so long. I didn't think one was needed, but all of these pieces came out of that broken, tangled mess. This is another necklace that I created in pretty much the same way. This beautiful beaded chain, I had 2 or 3 different pieces of this. I reattached them together because I thought this was really pretty. I didn't put a clasp on this one either because it is rather long, but you can see where I attached the 2 pieces in the back. And then I found this beautiful glass pendant, and I thought, you know what, that would look really good on that chain. This next necklace is the one that I had the most fun recreating. Once I get it opened up, I'm going to show it to you, and I'll try to describe how it originally looked. This one originally had pieces of black and silver chain attached to it, and all of these pieces you see dangling from it, those originally were not there. This was a double pendant. So there was this pendant that looked like a tree branch, and behind it, it had this enameled moon pendant. And it just looked kind of awkward to me. So I took the moon pendant off of it, And I got to looking at the tree branch really closely, and I noticed that it had little loops on it. And I thought, you know, I could find some really neat stuff to attach. So at first, I attached this piece. This is a piece of stone. And then we have this piece here, which looks like a piece of quartz. In fact, I believe it is quartz. But then all of the other little branch parts looked kind of bare. So I found a single chandelier style earring that had all of these beaded pieces hanging from it. I removed those and attached it to the branch. So I don't know what you guys think, but I thought this was really neat. I like the way it turned out, but you can let me know what you think of it in the comments. I'm going to put it on the forum so you guys can get a better look at it and see how cool this looks. So I'm going to double this up so you guys can get a really good look at it. The chain that's on it is one that I salvaged from that tangled pile. And one of the reasons I wanted to show this to you guys is it just goes to show that when you get things like jewelry jars or Goodwill blue boxes, and you may think that the pieces aren't worth using, there are a lot of little tiny bits and pieces in those boxes that you can repurpose into something else, especially if you just like crafting, making jewelry, or being creative. Either way, I'm very proud of how this one turned out. This is a necklace that I did manage to pick out of that pile, and I thought this was just stunning, so I really was very careful. I didn't want to have to break it to get it out of the tangled mess. This is a very long faceted glass pendant, and I liked the look of it. I thought it was really unusual. It's on a rather long chain, but get a load of this chain and how pretty it is. It does have some beading on it, and that's kind of where I got my idea for some of the necklaces I made. The clear beads on this one were faceted glass beads to kind of match up with the pendant, and this one is signed. This one is 1946. So this is a Cato brand necklace, and you know, I really do like a lot of Cato's jewelry pieces. I've ran across some stunning pieces that came from Cato. So I was really glad that I was able to salvage this one. I thought it was really neat. This is another necklace that I did manage to pick out of that pile or that tangle, and I think this one is absolutely stunning. I think out of all of the necklaces that this has to have been my favorite one. Look at the beads on this. These are faceted glass beads combined with, I think it's like a dyed stone. This one doesn't have a closure on it, but this is just a stunning necklace. It doesn't have a mark or a brand. If I had to hazard a guess, my guess is that this is probably a more modern necklace, and it was most likely made in India. Regardless, I think it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to put this one on the forum so you guys can get a really good look at it. It is a rather long necklace, so I'm going to double it up a little bit. I'm not sure, the form's a lot smaller than a person's neck. I'm not sure if it would double up well on being worn on the neck, but I think it would look good like that. Either way, I love the colors in that one. I think that one was a really good item. So this is another one of those pendants that looks like sliced stone. And this was in the tangled up mess, and I wanted to create a chain for it. So what I did was similar to what I did to the earlier necklaces that I showed you guys. I just started picking out pieces of chain. Some of it was beaded. I'm going to put it on the forum so you guys can probably get a better look at it in a minute. But there were just lots of bits and pieces, and I started reattaching those pieces. So here I have some pieces that are beaded. I have some pieces that are just this really fine chain. And you can see how I've kind of connected all of these pieces of chain and beaded chain together to make something to hang this beautiful pendant on. I think that it turned out really good. I think it's very unique. But as always, you guys let me know what you think of these pieces that I created in the comments. I did want you guys to see up close the beaded part of this chain. I thought these beads were really pretty. They are glass beads. They look kind of like stone, and they're just in a really neat combination of colors, so I kind of wanted to just keep those pieces together. This is another great item that I got out of that tangled up mess. that is fully intact. This is a beautiful quartz pendant, and even though it looks cracked, that is often seen in quartz. It's very smooth on the outside. All of these cracks are inclusions inside of the piece, but I thought this was really pretty. It's a good sized pendant, very large, and I was able to get the chain of it untangled, probably because this chain was a lot bigger and thicker. But I thought this was a really great piece to have come in that box. This is another necklace that I put together. The pendant was broken off, and then I had this piece of chain that I thought was really pretty that I did manage to salvage. So I just attached this pendant to this chain, and I thought it was really beautiful. It kind of looks like moth or a dyed shell, but I don't think so. I think that this is just made to look that way. It feels really smooth on the outside. It almost feels like acrylic or something along those lines, but either way, I thought this was a really pretty pendant. This is a pendant that I've been playing around with for a bit, and I'm not so sure I'm going to leave it this way. I believe that this was supposed to be the top part of the pendant that hung off the chain, and I didn't really like it that way. I did attach this halfway just to see how it's going to look if I put a jump ring and put the chain at the top. And I also found this little tiny piece of a tassel that I attached to the bottom of this stone. So keep in mind, this is a piece that I'm just playing around with still, but you guys let me know, what would you do with this piece? Would you hang it from the top where the stone is, maybe remove the tassel, or would you do it like I'm kind of thinking about doing and put a jump ring at the top and let it hang from a chain that way? Either way, I like the shape and the design of this pendant, so I don't really think it matters how I attach it to the chain. I think it's still going to be pretty. This is another pendant that I got really creative with and I redid. Originally it had a black and gold chain tassel hanging from the bottom of it, and I really didn't like that. And I think it had a black and gold chain, like a double chain on it. So I managed to get this tiny fine chain out of that pile, and I used that chain for this. And then I found this sliced stone pendant, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take the tassel off and I'm going to attach the stone pendant to the bottom of this. Not sure how great it looks. I think it looks okay, but you know, as always, you guys let me know what you think. Would you have left the tassel on this one, or do you think it looks good with this stone hanging from the bottom of it? I have just a few more that I'm going to show you guys. This is one, once I get it out of the baggie, that I didn't make this one. I was able to salvage it from the tangled mess, and I thought this was really pretty. This is a beautiful glass pendant. I like the unusual shape of it. So it's not really symmetrical, but I think it's really an eye-catching piece, kind of a conversation piece, really. So I thought that was a really neat one, and it's on its original chain. This next one is one that I created. The chain itself came out of the pile, so there was really nothing wrong with the chain, but the pendant is what I really want you guys to see. So this was actually, the pendant was an earring, and I thought it was really pretty. It has marcasites in it. So I disconnected the top of the earring because it didn't have a mate to it. Oh, look, I didn't even notice this is an Avon earring. So that's kind of neat. But anyway, I took the top part off the earring because it was more of a pierced dangly earring, and left the jump ring that was on it that attached it to the pierced part of the earring. And I turned this one into a necklace pendant. So that kind of gives you an idea of what I was talking about. A lot of those earrings, they make really beautiful and unusual necklace pendants, very unique. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is another one that I can show you as an example of a earring that I turned into a necklace pendant, if I can get it out of the baggie. So the chain is a piece of chain that I salvaged out of all of that, and you can see where there was really nothing wrong with the chain. It does have a closure on it. And this was a single earring. It was more of a chandelier style earring, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Kind of bummed out it didn't have a mate, but so I just detached the top part. I put a large jump ring through it and turned it into a necklace pendant. I have just a few more pieces that I'm going to show you guys today because I really don't want to bore you guys or be repetitive. I have quite a few more pieces that I did put together from broken parts and bits to turn into necklaces, but I really wanted to show you this one. This one was salvaged from the pile, so I didn't really do anything to this one, but I thought this was really pretty. Love the gold tone of this. Now, the stone on this is not glass. It looks like glass, but this is actually acrylic. Either way, I thought this was a really stunning necklace. Not sure who this one was by. I didn't see any markings on it. It had two different types of chain. But either way, I thought this was a beautiful necklace and just wanted to share it with you guys. This is another necklace that I managed to untangle out of the pile, so I didn't really do anything to it, but this was a really good box. This goes to show a lot of times if you get something like that and it looks like it's too much work, just work on it a little bit at a time because you'd be surprised. You may have some really good pieces of jewelry in there. This one, by the way, does have a glass stone in the center of it. So kind of sticking to the theme of the items that were in that box, there was a lot of pieces that had really pretty faceted glass. There was some quartz and, of course, plenty of stone pieces. So this one is marked, and I'm trying to read what the tag on this one says. Well, it's upside down. Let's turn it around and have a look at it. So, Envious, this is not a brand I've ever heard of. It's probably a more modern costume jewelry brand. But either way, I think this is a beautiful necklace. I saved this one for last because out of all of the pieces that I managed to pick loose from that pile without breaking them or cutting them with the wire cutters, this one had to have been the biggest headache because I saw the clasp on it. I knew it was a Monet. I love Monet jewelry. A lot of their pieces are very collectible. I'll show you close up. So there's the marking on it, and this is the sister clasp. But it was really a pain to get out of that pile, and I was determined to get it out without breaking it. It has this beautiful pendant on the front of it, and not sure if it's showing up on the camera, but this is a beautiful green glass stone in this pendant. And all of the rhinestones are intact, so this was a really good piece to get out of there. I haven't looked in the Monet book yet to see if it's in there, but either way, I was thrilled to have gotten this one out of that pile. And it was a headache, but it was really worth all of the work that I put in of picking it out a little bit at a time. So it turned out that what I thought was a big headache kind of garnered me some really nice pieces of jewelry. Not to mention, I found a lot of fun pieces that I could recreate and turn into what I consider to be some really beautiful necklaces. You guys let me know what you think in the comments, and I hope I gave you lots of ideas of ways that you can repurpose those bits and pieces. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to give me a thumbs up. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to share these items with me. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel and ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified anytime I upload new content. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.